MBO. So today we'll be starting with the next topic, that is organizing. Okay, the next step, okay, organizing. So why do we do organizing? We make decisions. Right? What is the decision making tool? So organizing. What is organizing? It's the process of grouping the various activities to be done and assigning duties and responsibilities to people in groups or departments. So what is organizing? Organizing means we are grouping people. Okay, organizing is the process of grouping the various activities to be done. Okay, so we are gonna group. So in our example, if you remember that we took the example of an arts, conducting arts in our college, right? So we need to conduct arts first. So we have to have what various departments, right? So what we'll do, our aim is to conduct the arts. So what we'll do, we'll assign some people for stage. We'll assign some people for coordinating online, like on stage activities. Then for off stage events. Then we have transportation. Then we have someone for uh, inviting the guest. We have we'll have for green room. And we'll have some people for finance. Right? We may look into the budget, the collection of the fund and all. Already have people. So what are we doing? We are grouping the activities. So what and all are to be done to conduct the arts first? We need to have a stage. We need to have good stage and sound system. We need to have good on offline events. We need to have on stage events. So we need a guest to inaugurate the function. We need judges. Right? So that like that we'll have so many activities. We are grouping we are dividing the arts into various departments or various groups, and that is organizing. So organizing is the process of grouping the various activities to be done. Okay, so that's the first thing. We are grouping the activities to be done. We need a stage, we need a guest, we need online off stage items, we need on stage items. That we are grouping the activities. And what is the next thing? And assigning duties and responsibility to people in groups of departments. And we have people in every group, right? Every department we have. So we'll be assigning duties for them and responsibilities to each of them. That is, if it is a stage department, we'll say you are in charge of stage department. Now we need the program is on 20th, so we need the stage to be completed by 18th or 19th morning. We need this completed, so you have to see to it. We need this kind of a sound system. Right? Then we'll have the off-stage item or the on-stage item. So the on-stage item has to be scheduled like that, so that it was ending at this much of time. Okay? So that next we have a DJ party. Okay? We'll assign responsibility to people. Okay? That is organizing. So organizing the process of grouping the various activities to be done and assigning duties and responsibility to people in groups of departments. Okay. So what it involves? Determining what works are needed to accomplish the goal. Okay, assigning those works to individuals and arranging those individuals in decision-making framework. Okay? And that is known as organizational structure. Okay? So it involves determining what works are needed to accomplish the goal. Like we said, our aim is to conduct the arts work. So what has to be done? We need on off stage items, we need on stage items, we need transportation facilities, we need fund budget. Okay? These and all are works to be done. So first of all, we need to understand, or we need to determine what are the works to be done. Okay, we'll look into it. We'll understand. Okay, these are the works to be done. Someday we can club something. Okay, someday we may have to delete something. You know, we'll sit, we'll talk, we'll determine what works are to be done. Then assigning those works to individuals. We'll have a stage department. A stage department will have a head, and he will have subordinates. Right? So they will answer to the head. Head will answer to the next to head, like that. Okay? And arranging those individuals in decision-making framework. Okay, the subordinates in the stage department will answer to the stage department in charge. He will answer to the student in charge for the arts, and he or she will answer to the staff in charge. Like they are all part of a level and part of a framework. Who will answer to whom, or who will question whom, like that. So then the result of organization process is an organization. Okay. What is an organization? Organization is a result of this process. Okay. So when we do all this thing, we have an organization of arts fest, like that. Okay. Now, what is the nature of organizing? Okay. The question might be try to note on the nature of organizing or the features of organizing. Okay. What are the features of organizing? Features of organizing are it is goal-directed activity. The purpose of organizing is to accomplish the organization goals and objectives. Like we said, why do? We do because we need to conduct the arts fest. So extremely it's a goal-directed activity. The purpose of organizing is to accomplish the organization goals and objectives. Right? Then it's a differentiating activity. Okay. Then it's a differentiating activity. How is it differentiating? It involves the identification and classification of activities into a variety of process and activities for accomplishing the goal. It involves identification and classification of activities into a variety of process or activities for accomplishing the goal. Like we have said, see, we have identified we need stage, we need on stage, we need off stage, we need transportation, we need guests, we need budget. So we have identified and we have classified activities into various. We have classified them, right? Variety of activities for accomplishing the goal. What is the goal? To conduct arts. So it's a differentiating activity. Next, it's a grouping activity. Involves grouping of activities into manageable units like department, teams, etc. So we need what? We need to conduct on-stage items. We'll group on-stage items all together. So on-stage items will be there. Screening, there will be a screening committee will be there. There will be a scheduling committee. They will assign the schedule. Right? There will be a judging committee. So everything will be there. It's grouped activities into manageable units, like department, teams, etc. Then assigning or delegating activity. It involves the assignment of groups or groups to different authorities with necessary authority to oversee the performance. So if we are forming a on-stage department, so we'll be having a head over there. Okay? It might be one of you. Okay? So he will be given the authority. Okay? So that he will say something and the rest of them won't listen. He will be the ultimate there. He will decide what has to be done in that department. Okay? The others might question him. Okay? The people might question him, but this will be the ultimate authority. He'll have the authority to see their performance. And to see his performance, there will be someone else like that. Okay? So involves assignment of groups to different authorities. We have managers or supervisors with necessary authority to oversee their performance. Okay? The next one is integrating other activity. Involves proper coordination of various departments to achieve the goal. Right? Like we know, we have on stage, we have off stage. So before the we should whenever we are scheduling, we should see that there's no clash, right? So if a person is participating in both on stage and off stage items, he should be given the opportunity to participate in both, right? So there should not be any clashes. If there's a clash, they should be rectified. So it is an integrating activity because it involves coordination of various departments. The safety should be done by this time. Then only we can have the arrangements, and the guest should arrive at this time. Then only we can move as per schedule. What happens if the guest is late? Our entire schedule will become hampered, right? So what we'll do, we might have to start the function without the judge. Sometimes we will have to wait for the judge some 1 or 2 hours. So that will hamper our entire plan. So it's an integrating action because it involves proper coordination of various departments. So whenever we say the judge should reach by 10 o'clock, okay? The judge should reach by 10 o'clock, or the judge should reach by 10 o'clock. Okay? It's a dynamic and constantly evolving activity. So organizing changes intermittently depending upon the significant changes to in organization environment. It's a dynamic and constantly evolving activity. means chance of changes might come. It's not that everything will go as per plan. Right? The judge might be late. He might get stuck. The guest might get stuck in the traffic. So we have to change at that moment. Okay? We'll have to do something else. Right? Sometimes the schedule will get wrong. We can't control. Right? So there will be changes. It's a dynamic. It's constantly moving, constantly evolving activity. Yeah. So we look into it once again. Organizing is a process of grouping the various activities to be done and assigning duties and responsibilities to people and groups of departments. Okay. What is organizing? What we are gonna group. Okay. We're gonna group the activities to be done and assign duties and responsibility to people in groups of departments. Okay. So determining what has to be done in order to reach the goal, then assigning works to be done. Okay. And giving them the right to make decisions. Right? What are the natures? It's a goal-directed activities. So it is motivated. Motivation is to achieve the goal. Then the differentiating activity, that is, we'll identify the different process or different activities to be done, and then we'll classify them. Then it's a grouping activity. So we'll group activities into management units like department. Then assigning of delegating activity, that is not assigning authorities, giving power to people so that they can oversee their subordinate. The integrating activity because it involves coordination of various departments. Okay. Various department has to take part in it. Then it's dynamic and constantly one. Almost everything in management will be dynamic because what we are doing, we are planning for future. Okay. So there are uncertainties will be there. We have unforeseen factors will be there. So everything will be dynamic in nature. Organizing changes intermittently depending upon the significant changes in the organization environment. Okay. Okay. The next topic is organization level and span of management. So what is organization level exists because there is a limit to the number of persons a manager can supervise efficiently. Okay. Span of management or span of control refers to the number of employees reporting to a single manager. The number of subordinates which are directly under supervision. Okay. So what is organization level? We will have different levels. We'll have different levels in organization. As we have said earlier, we have top level management, middle level management, lower level. So there will be levels in the management because what happens? People will have to be there will be managers and there will be employees who he has to look into, right? So span of management or span of control, the terms are same. Okay. The question might be write a note on span of management or span of control. Span of control of management can be there, both of them. Okay. Refers to the number of employees reporting to a single manager. So how many employees are reporting to a single manager? That's the span of control or span of management. So if it is wide span of management, so more number of employees will be reporting to a single manager. If it is narrow, more number of employees will be reporting to a single manager. Okay. So basically, how many employees are under one manager? That's the span of management. That will determine the number of levels. So what are the factors affecting span of management? The first one is nature of the work. When the work is routine or standardized, we have greater span of control. Okay. When the work changes frequently, instructions should be given each time, lower span of control is needed. What does it mean? When our work is something fixed, okay, we are doing it every day, we are doing the same thing. Okay. When we are doing the same thing, one manager can oversee many people. Okay. Can see a large number of people. Okay, maybe a number. I'm not giving out a number, but you can see more number of people because they are doing the work every day. They are doing the same work routinely. They are doing the same thing. Okay, so he knows, or the manager can know what each of them are doing, and he'll have idea of what they're doing. But what happens when the works are changing frequently, when decisions are to be made on daily basis, when the works might change every single day, then one person cannot oversee many people. Okay? Because so many decisions are to be made. So at that time, what will happen? He'll have we'll have a lower span of control. We should have a smaller span of control. That means lower number of people should be, or less number of people can be overseen. Okay? Same way like your guide. Okay? For a classroom, we have one teacher. Okay? One teacher for one subject. Oh, that's your staff coordinator. Okay, staff coordinator is there. Okay? You or she will know everything about you guys. Okay? So the works are routine. You have to learn your the works are routine. So he or she can effectively control all of you together. Okay, and take part in everything. But what happens in the project? Project, it will have many aspects. It will change accordingly. You might have to take a decision daily. So that time, you will have one staff will be having only two groups. Okay? The same staff advisor who is in charge of all of you, maybe 50 students, will be given only two groups. Right? What is the difference over there? One, in the first case, the staff advisor role, that job is routine. He or she knows what has to be done. But in the project guide group, he has to take decisions. You cannot effectively control or to think about 10 different projects. So he or she will be given two projects like that. So it depends upon the nature of the work. When the nature of the work is routine, okay, when the nature of the work is routine or standardized, greater span of control is needed. Greater span of control means one person will have more number of people under him. Okay. And when the work changes frequently, instruction should be given each time. Lower span of control is needed. Okay. Now look into this figure. In the first figure, we have a supervisor, and he's having in the first wide span of control. Okay, we have your president, we have the two supervisors, and each supervisor is having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, the first supervisor is having 8 people under him. Okay, in the second case, see, the president is there, department heads are there, supervisors are there, and but one supervisor is having only 4 subordinates under him, 4 people under him. Okay? This is a narrow span of control. The second one is narrow span of control. First one is wide span of control. Okay, so basically, one supervisor is having under him 8 workers or 8 employees, or else in another terms you can say supervisor is supervising 8 people. Okay, so supervisor is supervising 8 people. In the second case, again the supervisor is supervising 8 people. Okay, similarly in here we'll have one supervisor having only 4. That's narrow, right? Okay. So the first one is wide span of control. Second one is narrow span of control. Wide span of control means they will have more number of persons under one supervisor. In narrow span of control, we'll have lesser number of people under one supervisor. So the next thing is clarity of plans and responsibility. Right? So clarity of plans and responsibility means if in an organization, if the responsibility of supervisors, plans and policy, everything is clear, definite and clear, we'll have greater span of control. Okay? Large number of people can be supervised one by one person. Whenever we are seeing wider span, greater span of control means large number of people is supervised by one person. Narrow or lower span means smaller number of people is supervised by one person. So if in our company, everything, we know the proper rules, regulations, for supervisor policies, everything are responsibilities of supervisor, everything are very clear, definite. Then we can have wider span of control. And if it is not, we have lower span of control. Then capacity of person involved. That's also one major thing. Because see, one person has to, in the first case we had, the first supervisor has to control 8, right? In the second case we had to supervisor has to control 4. But that will depend upon the supervisor's capability. Okay, if he can control 8, we can give him 8 people. But if he cannot do that, okay, if he cannot do that, there's no point in giving. So that will also it will also depend upon the capacity or the capability of the person. If he is capable enough, we can have him. We can give more number of can I say more workers to him. Okay, but if he's not, then we cannot have wider span of control. We will be forced to have narrow span of control. Then the next thing is time. Okay? Time is also very important because time means how much of time is available with the person. Okay? If he is having more time with him, okay? If he is having more time with him, then he can have that is if he is having more time, he can spend with his subordinates. If I have time, okay, okay, in your project group. So this is the project that if you are having, if you are assigning 5 groups to one person, okay, in case 5 different groups are assigned to one person, what will happen? 5 of them will go and ask questions to the guide. So he or she may not have the enough time. Okay? He or she might not have enough time to answer all their queries. Okay? Evenly. Okay? All the questions, all the doubts, he or she might not have the time to correct everything for them, do everything for them, right? So that will also affect how much time is available with the supervisor, how much time can the uh, guide spend. That's why what we do, he'll give two groups. So he or she can effectively give guidance to both the groups. If more number of groups are given, the guide will be overloaded. Because whenever you ask him question, he or she has to think about it. He or she might not have the answer with them at that time. They might have to research. So that will also have that will also play time. That is time. Okay, how much time is available with the supervisor for the subordinates. Okay. The next thing is geographical distribution. Okay. Geographical distribution means we cannot always think about okay, now see when you guys are at your home. So you might be from anywhere in Kerala, okay, anywhere in India, but we are having a class right now. But it's okay, we are having, but physically your guide cannot come and help you with that. Okay, so the ones are different localities, the supervisor may not be able to get physically in touch. Because of the technological advancements, now we can by a mobile phone or laptop, we can do effective communication, but physically, he or she might not be able to come. So geographic distribution, so where you are there, where you are. Okay? Because I can say like uh, sales. Okay, so the office or the supervisor might be in Kannur. Okay, because you guys are in sales department, you might be in Kashmir. You might be doing sales in Kashmir. Right? So basically, geographical distribution is also a factor. Okay? So what are the features or factors affecting the span of management? One is nature of the work, how our work is. If it is, if our work is routine, or work is standardized, we can have a wider span of control. Wider span of control means one person will control or supervise many people. Okay? If it is not, that is, if our works are changing frequently, we need to make decisions every time. And in that case, we have lower span of control. Lower span of control means one person will be supervising only a few. Okay. Then clarity of plans and responsibilities. That is, if we are sure about the responsibilities of the supervisors, what are the plans and policies, everything are, we can have wider span of control. And if it's not clear, we have to opt for lower span of control. Okay. The capacity of the person involved. That is, what kind of supervisor are you? Can you do it? Okay. That will also, if we can, we can have a wider span of control. But if we are not able to do that, then we will be forced to do narrow span of control. Then time. Okay. How much time can can a supervisor allot to the subordinates? Okay. If he has enough time, then we can have wider. If time is a constraint, then we'll be forced to go for narrow, because he cannot effectively supervise everyone. So that means the workers may work or may not work. So that's a damage to our company. So we'll be forced to hire someone else. Okay, the manager said, "Oh, sorry, I don't have time for managing these 10 people. I can manage only 6. So the rest 4 will be forced to reassign them, or we'll be forced to hire someone else." And geographical distribution. So where you are physically present, that will also have a factor. Okay, that's why in MNCs and beginner in companies will have what they will have an office in somewhere in US, and they will have region head like Asian department. Africa will have a head. North America will have a head. South America will be having a head. Then in Asia, they'll have sometimes for each countries they will be there. So that the levels are increasing. Then there are 2 types of spans of management or span of control. So the terms, don't get confused. Span of management and span of control are one and same. Okay? We have, as we have seen, there are wide span of control and there are narrow span of control. The wide span of control is the one in which a manager can supervise and control effectively a large group of persons at one time. It is also called operative span, as it is meant primarily for lower level managers. Okay. So in wide span of control, one person, the supervisor, is managing many. In this case, one supervisor is managing 8. It's the one in which a manager can supervise and control effectively a large group of persons at one time. Okay? And this is also known as operative span. We know we operation level. Okay? We use and level planning. We said lower level management, solo operating. Right? The plans, different types of plans. Right? Strategic plan. There we said strategy, tactics, and operational plan. So it's also called operative span. That is meant primarily for lower levels. Now, here the president will be having 2 supervisors, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8 persons are supervised, controlled by one single supervisor. Okay. So what are the advantages? Advantages are less overhead cost of supervision. Less overhead cost of supervision. That means, what does it mean? See, here you can see there's only one supervisor. He's supervising 8 persons. In the second case, see, there are 2 supervisors who are managing 8 persons. So in the first case, 1 person is doing this job. In the second case, 2 persons are doing the job. Okay, 2 persons are needed to do the same type of job. 8. So what happens? The cost is increasing. We need 2 times per person. So apart from their salaries, even if we are not adding salaries, overhead will include the insurance. We have to provide a space for them, the computers, the fan, electricity, the transportation. Many charges will be there, right? So that all will increase. Okay? So overhead cost will increase. The rent, like that, many things will be there. So, or less over. If it is wide, then there is less persons are involved, so less overhead cost. Where is it suitable? As we said, it is suitable for repetitive jobs. If we have to make decisions every day also, we cannot use wide span of control. We will be forced to use narrow span of control. Then feedback from workers will be more effective. So workers will be directly in contact, and he or she can directly state what is going on. Then clear policies must be made. If it is unclear, then again issues will be there. Then we cannot follow wide span of control. If we are going to follow wide span of control, everything should be very clear. The rules, the regulations, the responsibilities, the policies, the procedures, everything should be very clear. Then superiors are forced to delegate, because I am having 8 persons in charge. So what will happen? I will be forced to delegate some of the work. Okay, you can do that. I will trust you with it. Okay? Okay, you can do it. I'll trust you with it. Like that, I will be forced to delegate. Then subordinate selection must be carefully done, because see, I am going to control this 8%. So this 8% should be trustworthy. They should be good persons, good workers. Okay, if they are not, if they are bad workers, then the company will suffer. So that selection should be very good. So I am forced to give them responsibilities. Right? Then what are the disadvantages? Disadvantages is tendency to overload the superior. That is flowing to decision making. So because the superiors are forced to have 8 persons are under him, so he will have to make 8 decisions. So he will be overloaded. Okay? And that way decision making slower. Then danger of superior's loss of control. So he may not be able to control every time. Okay? Then requires exceptional quality of managers. Good managerial skills are required. Not anyone can do it. Okay? You can see, when you go for work, you'll be made a team leader. Then you'll have to work with some people whom you don't know. Then they can know how does it work, right? So wide span of control. There are two types of control: wider and narrow. Wide, which one manager will effectively control a large number of people. It's also called operating span. Okay? It is mainly for lower level management. Advantage is less overhead cost, suitable for repetitive work. Feedback from workers will be more effective. Okay? Policies must be clear. Superiors are forced to delegate, and whenever we are staff selections, the subordinate selection, it should be done very carefully. And what are the disadvantages? Tendency to overload the superiors, which slows down the decision making, danger of loss of control, and require exceptional quality of managers. Okay. The second one is narrow span of control. In narrow span of control is the one is worker authority is divided amongst many subordinates, and a manager doesn't have to supervise and control a very big group. As you see in the second figure. Here, the supervisor can control. Supervisor has to control only 4. Okay. Again, a new post for department head is also formed. So the supervisors are monitored by department, and department head are monitored by the president. Okay. So it's the one in which the workers and the authority, work and authorities divided amongst many subordinates, and the manager doesn't have to supervise and control very big group of people. Okay. The manager supervises a selected number of employees at one time, and that in this case only 4. Advantage: flow supervision control. Okay. Fast communication between subordinate and supervisors. So he doesn't have to wait. When 8 people are there, okay, he has to wait. For example, when 5 groups are guided by one single person, you will have to wait for your turn. Okay, if 2, that's not a problem. Both of you can go together and talk. Right? Specialized work can be achieved. Right? Then messages reaches employees faster. Then what are the disadvantages? Superiors tend to get involved in the work. Okay, because he's having only 2 persons under him, or 4 persons under him, or the guide is having only 2 groups. The guide will have the time to get involved in them, but that involvement may be too much. Okay, so many levels of management are there. So we shall see what is the level of management. But here we can see 1, 2, 3. The levels of management are increasing. So as and when level of management is increasing, the cost will get more. Okay. Then excessive distance between the lowest and top level. So when the president tells something, the president should go to department head to supervisors to subordinates. Right? So there's a long route. There's a distance. Same way, if an employee is having a grievance, he will go for supervisor. Supervisor will communicate it to the department head, and department head will move into the president. So there's a distance between them. Okay. And if you have any doubt, please let me know. Don't worry, we'll be discussing it again. So when we come into